Alright, y'all. I'm walking for this one, so you know it's about to be serious. I really hope I don't pass anyone. It's late, so I don't think that anyone is gonna be outside other than me. I think I'm the only person crazy enough to come out and walk around here when it's this cold. But I had to get out of the house to talk about this. I just had to. This shit irks me to my core. I just have to get this out there, even if I'm yelling into a hurricane right now, and no one will ever see this. I don't care, bro. I have to get this out there. It's women that hate women. What the hell is that about, dude? How's that even possible? What happened to women supporting women? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know when it started. I'm guessing it's just a form of like pick-meism, which is not something that I actually ever thought even existed, to be honest with you. Like, I would see people talking about that and be like, oh dude, when the pick-me girl does this thing, or a POV, you have to do your class project with the pick-me girl. I was like, this shit does not happen in real life, bro. That is not a real archetype. But I'm starting to find out that it actually not only is a real archetype, but it actually might be even worse than we thought. Because it doesn't only come out as like mild annoyance, but I'm starting to see it come out as like pure hate. You know? And it just makes no sense to me. How people can be so hateful to people that they should be able to relate to. I'm not saying that all women's lives are exactly the same. You know, obviously some of them have struggles that other ones don't. But on a fundamental level, a lot of them will probably have similar struggles. Because that's just the way that our society works. I mean, it's not a good thing, but like a lot of the time, you know, I thought someone was on the roof. That was weird. But anyway, yeah, a lot of the time we treat people of, you know, certain demographics the same, and we kind of think of them all as like the same. And I'm not saying that's a good thing, but just because of the way that it is, and you know, biological reasons too, you know, I think if you take two women and put them in a room, even if they're from completely different backgrounds, they'll probably be able to relate to one another on at least a few things. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying either that you need to be able to personally relate to someone that you know, or you need to personally be able to relate to someone to be able to empathize with them. Because that's not true either. I think I have empathy for everyone, or at least I try to. You know, even people completely different from me. But I don't know, I guess I'm just grasping at straws here. Trying to find like literally anything that makes sense. Like, okay, they might not be the most empathetic people, but maybe they can at least have empathy towards people that, you know, experiencing the same things that they've experienced. But a lot of the time that's not true. And it's just crazy, like, how self-absorbed do you have to be? I don't know. Like I said, I guess it's just from like, you know, pick-meism, like I said. I have a lot of thoughts on that as a topic. Like I said, I didn't initially think that it was a real thing, but I guess it is real. Is real. What the hell? I didn't mean to say that. Secret message in my words? Oh my god. No. What was I gonna say? I have a lot of thoughts on that as a topic, because I'm gonna turn around now because I'm approaching a road and I don't want there to be a million cars passing me, because then you won't be able to hear my beautiful voice. But anyway, damn it, what was I gonna say? I don't know, I think a lot of people just have a very little awareness to like the world around them, you know what I mean? And they kind of only think about themselves. You know what I mean? And low-key, I am inclined to think that, as with a lot of things in the world, if you go back to the very beginning of them, men are probably at fault for them. That generally applies to most things. Because, we men, we haven't been the nicest to women throughout history. So, I guess at a certain point, some girls kind of got the memo about that. And, and these are specifically like very attention-seeking girls that need like, a lot of validation from men. And they think that the best way to get that is to like become one of them. You know what I mean? Kind of like infiltrate, go behind enemy lines. Like maybe they want is for me to just talk like them and just talk down to other women and be like a huge misogynist or whatever. That's how I can pull misogynistic guys, which is just all guys, I guess. I don't know. I guess that's just like the very black and white viewpoint that they have. It's not true. Because number one, not all guys are misogynists. And the ones that are definitely not the ones that you want to be trying to pull for obvious reasons. I mean, that should be obvious, but I guess it isn't. But yeah, I'm telling you now, you don't want to be with a partner that hates you, for whatever reason. Or at least like maybe not strictly hate, but like thinks less of you, thinks of you as like an object or whatever. Someone's just using you. You know what I mean? Even if you're aware of that, I don't know. I don't think it's a very healthy situation to be in. I mean, it's better if you're aware of it, but like, I don't know. Some people are like kind of aware of it, but not really. Like they might be aware on like a subconscious level, but they would never like say those words out loud because then it would, they would know that they sound stupid. I do kind of feel bad for those people. But I don't know. I don't really think it's an excuse to, treat women the way that some women treat women. I was talking to this one girl somewhat recently, and I want to preface that this girl was like not even into me. I'm like 99% sure, if not 100% sure, that she doesn't even want me. So like, it's not like she was trying to impress me specifically, but I think, if she's been acting like this for so long, that it's like ingrained in her personality. You know what I'm saying? Like she just is that now. She doesn't even like actively think of it anymore. But yeah, she just would always talk about, other girls in like a very sort of objectifying way, in a way that like made me feel kind of weird, because it was almost like she expected me to like, I don't know, be talking like fucking Nate Jacobs from Euphoria or something. That scene where he's like, so Cassie's a whore. Fact. That type shit. I would never talk about a woman like that. I mean, I definitely, I've probably said some things that I shouldn't have, but, I just don't generally look at people like objects in any context. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know. It's like she talks about women as if the only value that they bring to the table is their bodies and their attractiveness. You know what I mean? And it was just so weird, because I could tell that it was coming from a place of insecurity, right? She was obviously insecure about all the things herself that she was criticizing them for. You know what I mean? And it's just kind of like, I don't know, for someone that's so self-absorbed and worried about aesthetics and appearances, right? Because she's, again, she's very insecure about her appearance. It's just, I mean, I can understand that, because I used to be really insecure about my appearance too. Especially for the earlier years of high school. And to be fair, I did look like shit for those years. But it was really the thinking that I looked like shit that made me look more like shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was the internal struggle that I was having was much more significant than anything physical. Right? So that's what I would really encourage people to conquer first. you know, rather than worrying too much about appearances. But still, you know, I get it. I get that we all, you know, we all want to look good. And, you know, some of us just don't, you know, like naturally we just look in the mirror and we're just like, we just think what we see is ugly. And that's, you know, it's just part of life. You know, it can happen, you know, and you should remember that beauty is subjective. No, not every single person in the world is ever going to agree on who is beautiful and who isn't. But still, you know, it's an internal thing. That's, you know, the internal workings are more important, like I said. So if we think that about ourselves, it can be very damaging, and it sucks. I just don't understand why, you know, how you come to the conclusion that you need to take it out on other people. You know what I mean? Like me, when I was going through that, what it made me, you know, it made me more empathetic, right? Because I saw other people in similar situations. And I especially saw a lot of people in high school, you know, talking about people like, dude, he's so ugly, I would never get with him. Or like, dude, she is not valid. Like, I don't even know why you're talking to her. Like, what the hell? You know, that kind of shit. Totally just appearance based on whatever. It was high school, it doesn't matter. But at the time, it was really hurtful for me to hear that. Partly because, you know, I was thinking to myself, like, okay, if they're going to talk about these people like that, they're definitely talking about me like that as soon as I walk out of the room, right? But it was also partly because, you know, I could relate to what those people were probably feeling. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like that made me more, you know, readily able to sympathize with them, you know, and it made me more against talking about people like that. I've never liked people that talk about people like that for that reason, you know. But some people go through the same experiences, or maybe it's not the same, but I assume that it's not that different. They go through a situation similar to mine and come out of it being a self-absorbed asshole, you know, that treats other people like shit and like tries to make other people feel bad about themselves to sort of like drag them down to their own level. You know what I'm saying? I think that all people want to bring other people down to their level. You know what I'm saying? Whether that's bringing them up or bringing them down. Confident people. I heard this quote from a Tina Colada video. I cannot imagine many people watching this know who Tina Colada is, but she's sort of like a influencer. She makes sort of like, I don't really know how to describe it. I guess like sisterhood videos, if that makes sense. You know, videos like, you know, it's like POV, it's like 3 a.m. and I'm your big sister answering questions, you know, that type shit. I don't really know how I even got hooked on those videos because I'm obviously not the target demographic, but I did. And I watch videos like that. And she said something once that really stuck out to me. It was like, confident people, you know, try to pull other people up to, you know, so that they can be on their level. You know what I mean? And that's how you can identify a confident person versus someone that's just like narcissistic, right? Because someone that's just like egotistical asshole, that's not real confidence. And you can tell because they'll try to like push other people down so that they can stay above those people. You know what I mean? In reality, they're just dragging them down to their own level. Right? I don't know. She didn't say all that. She only said the confident thing. But I think that it's also applicable to, you know, insecure people. They try to pull other people down. And that's what's happening, you know? Everything that this girl that I knew would talk about relating to other women is just their appearances. And it was a lot of the stuff that she was insecure about herself, you know? And I could just tell that it was all jealousy. And it made me feel really gross, you know? I don't know, it made me feel gross in like a really weird way. In a way that talking to other guys about stuff like that doesn't really make me as uncomfortable. Even though I still don't really like it, you know. But I don't know, I guess I just know it's less serious. Right? Because like I said, I've said some things that I shouldn't have said, but for the most part, they're just like jokes, you know. A lot of the bits that I do with my friends revolve around, you know, acting like people that we're not, you know, and sort of doing and saying things that we would never actually say and that we don't believe in. That's the joke, you know. But just to hear it coming from her, I didn't view it that way. I don't know, it just made me feel really gross. It's just such like, I don't know. I don't want to talk about this person in particular too much because, well, I have reasons for not wanting to do that. But it's just the most recent example I can think of a woman that just is not very nice to other women, right? And she would like, you know, okay, I said I didn't want to talk about her and now I'm continuing to talk about her, but like, you know, calling women sluts, saying that they, you know, talking about how they, you know, they lost weight and are thus like, I don't know, I guess worth less. She never used those exact words, but I guess that's kind of just the impression that I gave off. It kind of reminded me of Claire from Modern Family, which is a sitcom. It's a really good sitcom. I really enjoy it. But there are some scenes that kind of piss me off a little bit. Like how Gloria, you know, and Gloria has obviously aged like fine wine, right? She's like 10, maybe 20 years older than Claire, and she looks amazing. You know, Claire, you know, not that Claire looks bad, but she's obviously jealous of that a little bit, right? And so when Gloria tells Claire that she's pregnant, Claire's immediate first reaction is, "You're gonna get fat," right? And it's just like, oh, wait, I didn't mean to say that, you know? And it's like, I don't know. It's kind of funny, but it's also like, what the fuck, you know? That's something that I just think like, and I'm not saying that people get their entire lives from sitcoms or like think that everything that happens in a sitcom should be replicated exactly like that in real life. But just like, that's something that, I don't know, if I was Gloria, that would have hurt me a lot. And we would need to have a serious talk about it afterward, but they just kind of move on with it like it's not a big deal, right? Because obviously it's a sitcom. It was played for laughs. If the writers don't want it to be a big deal, then it's not going to be a big deal. So, you know, I'm not criticizing the show too much. But I don't know. It just kind of reminded me of things that I've seen in real life. You know, sort of like, I don't know, if something happens to someone that changes their appearance, the thought isn't like, you know, the first thought is like yes, like you're less attractive, so now you're closer to my attractiveness, right? Like I'm like almost as attractive as you, if not more attractive now, which is all I care about, you know. This pisses me off. And if any girls like this are watching this, that shit is not attractive. Like I've been talking about y'all up to this point, but right now I just want to talk to y'all and say that is like the least attractive shit ever. You know what I'm saying? There might be some guys out there that'll deal with it. You know, the misogynistic guys that I was talking about earlier. You know, the ones that you don't want to pull, right? The only reason they're okay with it is because they literally look at you like that. They only are just using you for your body. You know what I'm saying? So like they're not too worried about your personality flaws because they don't care about your personality whatsoever. You know what I'm saying? But like, you know, the kind of guys that you actually want to get with. And I'm not trying to sound like a nice guy right now, which is why I'm not talking about myself specifically. You know what I'm saying? This isn't coming from a place of insecurity. Like, oh, why do girls only go for douchebags and not go for nice guys like me? You know what I'm saying? I don't want to sound like that, but it literally, like, it's true. You know what I'm saying? A guy that actually cares about women's personalities will recognize flaws like that and be like, you're fucking weird, you know? I don't want to be with someone like that, right? And ultimately that is going to lead it's going to lead to a less healthy relationship experience overall for you. you know? I don't know. The type of girl that would do this is not going to listen to my advice. So it's, you know, like I'm kind of yelling into a hurricane, like I said. God damn. Pisses me off, bro. I guess that's all I wanted to say about it. Yeah, don't do that. Don't, you know, I mean, jealousy is understandable, but make sure you're handling your emotions like an adult. You know what I mean? Don't take it out on people like that. Appearances don't always matter that much anyway. I mean, they obviously matter a little bit, but like I said, beauty is subjective. So, you know, if the one person that you like isn't attracted to you, so what? You move on, you find someone that is, right? It's not like it's impossible for you to find love. So it's literally just not that serious, you know? It's not worthy of creating so much tension and turmoil when it matters so little, right? And for the most part, there's not much you can really even do about it. So, yeah, don't worry about it too much. That's my advice to you. I think if you stop worrying about it in yourself, you'll stop worrying about it so much in other people too. But that's just my opinion. Let me know what you all think in the comments. Yeah, I'm gonna go back inside now because it's freezing. Whew.